Participants are all tucked in?
Yep. Yeah, mocap's ready. Everybody's in the audience at the DHD.
Roger. Okay. Greetings, everyone.
Greetings.
So this class is an exploration in concept. All right, so you're going to see a system today in action, a technical. I'm going to sit a little closer to the mic so everybody can hear me all over the world. You're going to see a system that's been put together and is currently under development. I just bumped it. It'll come back.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's the first step in a journey of 1,000 steps. So really what we're talking about today is the concept. It's also an invitation into this next generation of development. As we go, we're going to be talking about a global collaboration through a digital host destination. It's like a virtual place that we can meet and have an event and collaborate, right? And we're looking at it as a more flexible alternative to in-person study and exploration. Video conference is the current standard for virtual collaboration. And I want to make just a couple little metaphors here. So when I do a job as a presentation coach, and back in the early 2000s, I've been doing it since, how long have I? 96 I started. The early 2000s, I had a company, corporations hire me to coach business presentations. And I had a company say, hey, our team is spread out all over the place. Could you do it maybe on FaceTime? Now, up until that point, people considered FaceTime to be something that was kind of a cop-out, right? Because, we're paying this coach, right? He should be here, right? But this team said, nah, we can't pull these people out of their jobs. We need to collaborate remotely, and then we'll get them together at the end in Texas or wherever we're going to get together for the presentation. And they did it. It worked great. But it was another 10, 12, 15 years before people really started, and that was the pandemic, right, that facilitated that, started to go, well, this actually is a valid way to work. And remote conferencing and whatnot started to take hold. But there was a big gap between where it was actually working before it was actually adopted, right? So you're in kind of the same situation. We're somewhere between where we are now and holodeck, right? And we will get there eventually, right? Now, farther back, in 1994, I was in a video game called Civilization 2. I was one of the trade advisors. I was the trade advisor. So you probably looked at me on the screen telling you to discover trade or whatever I was saying, right? So then they had a pirate game, and they had a mocap studio, which was very, very cutting edge at the time. And they said, hey, would you guys be interested in getting involved with that? We started a conversation about all the things that were possible. I said, oh, you could have video panes of glass, animated panes of glass. You can have fire and a muzzle flash and all these things, and we don't have to use real guns. And there's so many cool things that we can do, and we can pad up the room, and this was all me thinking of it on the fly, right? And now it turns out that's what we're doing now. Right now, I didn't continue my relationship with Microprose, so I didn't get to ride that wave, and they may not have been the leaders in that kind of, gaming development at the time anyway. But so I had a chance to ride that wave all the way back to 1994. So the point here is this is where collaboration is headed, even in the arts, right? I know you're already using some video conferencing. Peter Jackson filmed a lot of the Lord of the Rings, remotely, looking at things on screens, right? So this is where we're headed. So we want you to see where it is now, and we're inviting you in to shape where it's going. Let me talk a little bit about, so we call this digital, let me turn the lights on so you can see a little better.
Yeah, the online people can see better.
So this is the Hope Bear Garden. It is a digital replica of the Shakespeare's Globe Theater. The Hope Bear Garden values that are really driving this and they're in alignment with the roundtable values of the ISB, is that it is inclusive. We're trying to create a space that brings people in and it's open access, not exclusive access. It's available to all. and invites collaboration and, of course, preservation. That's really the two key words here, collaboration and preservation. So let me introduce Brad Waller, who is joining us virtually from George Mason University, their Fuse Center, which is, I believe, a gaming development department there at Mason. And let me tell you a little bit about Brad. Now, Brad's teacher was Patty, right? And from Patty in this organization, we get the values of inclusivity, meaning and generosity. Patty never really got fully indoctrinated into the compartmentalization of societies. He was simply revered by all the societies, right? And so he always thought very simply, while other societies were trying to control and regulate, he was just like, we should just have classes and talk to one another and exchange information, right? So we get that generosity and inclusivity from Patty. Now, from Brad, we get inspiration and passion for art and history. If you've spent any 10 minutes with Brad, he will take you down his rabbit hole of historical movement research, right? And also creative audacity and disruption. When I was his student in the 90s, he was reinventing the footwork system that was being used in stage combat, and it was resisted, right? And yet, because he was so thorough, and because it was historical and grounded in the integrity of history, and it just worked so well, eventually it got picked up, and elements of it are all around the world now. So we're going to learn some of that movement today via this collaborative platform, and you'll be able to get a taste of that. But just know at the time, that was a disruption, right? Everybody was still doing fencing footwork in the 70s and 80s, right? Around the 90s, we started to sort of expand things. We had one little demi-volt, and we didn't have much, right? So that's Brad, the creative inspirer, passionate leader. He is creatively audacious. He's a disruptor and an innovator. So, ladies and gentlemen, Brad Waller.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us in this experiment today. We're going to get right to it. What I'd like to do is introduce you to actually myself. So I'm going to get out of the way and let the little presentation that we can watch together, which gives
Hello,
us
everyone.
a little bit of
Welcome.
background.
I see that you have made your way through our digital portal. Welcome to the Hope Bear Garden Digital Host Destination. Look at this place. Please feel free to stand up, run around, and go up and down our stairways and explore our playhouse during the presentation. Welcome, all of you. The purpose here is to present to you my research and development efforts over the last decade. And here we go.
Hi, I'm Austin Birch. Thank you for hosting us all here today. I just wanted to ask, how did this research idea begin?
The origins of this research project began with a meeting in 2015 at the Folger Shakespeare Library with Dr. Michael Whitmore and Rick Davis, now Dean of the College of Visual and Performing Arts at George Mason University. I presented the idea of using emerging motion capture technologies to research, preserve, and archive historical martial arts and historical dance. We decided to create a test research project using a historical movement work, Giacomo de Grassi's treatise of 1570, Englished by I.G. Gentleman in 1594, and so my journey began.
Hi, my name is Lorraine Ressiger Sloan. I'm a movement, violence, and intimacy choreographer, and I currently teach stage combat at George Mason University. My question is, what is historical movement research?
Hundreds of antiquarian movement works have been left to us in the form of books, treatises, and manuscripts. It is the work of historical movement scholars and researchers who endeavor to unlock the knowledge contained within these words and images. It is an arduous task to research and understand these historical movement techniques and systems of movement. It takes an uncommon dedication to the rigorous physical development of skill through training and building an understanding in the body.
Kia ora. My name is Simon Mans. I'm a Swede that now lives in New Zealand. I work as a fight director and a drama teacher, amongst other things. My question is, how are you able to recreate and capture historical movement? Thank you.
In 2016, we devoted 7 months of movement research and training to motion capture a series of historical movement sequences from Giacomo de Grassi's treatise. This video shows one of those sequences, a routine of 16th century longsword techniques performed by Jonathan Purvis. Here is the same motion capture sequence placed within the Hope digital host destination. By this point, we had accomplished our first mandate or proof from our meeting in 2015. We had taken words and images from a historical work and through research and reconstruction digitized that historical movement and preserved it in a 3-dimensional digital form.
My name is Jeanette Acosta Martinez. I'm a Master of Arms at Martinez Academy of Arms in New York. What do you do with the digitized historical movement?
This is where we engage in an entirely different set of skills, where the technical research and development begins. In 2018, I had the honor of serving as a visiting scholar in residence at George Mason University and set up shop at the Virginia Serious Game Institute on the university's Manassas campus. I was provided with the tools to interact and work with programmers and digital artists who helped me to implement these research ideas and develop them into a digital reality.
Hi, my name is Hilde Östensson. I work with movement, acting, and voice. What kind of research tools did you develop as a visiting scholar in residence?
We have laid the technical foundation for a downloadable application that would contain a series of research tools created for my international colleagues. We designed, built, and implemented a studio avatar that could inhabit the historical movement sequences we were capturing and preserving with wireless motion capture suits. We created our own HMA 3D viewer, a web application that allows a user to display historical and cultural movement in 3D on the web to be viewed on any mobile browser, desktop browser, and on VR headsets, AR headsets, and smart glasses. Here's an example of our 3D viewer that has preserved a movement sequence researched, reconstructed, and motion captured from some of the earliest known Chinese orchesography symbols. These historical movements are later found in Panathenaic dance of the 4th century BC and historical martial arts of the 16th century. They are regarded as universal martial principles or elements: air, fire, water, and earth. Here's the same motion capture sequence placed within the digital host destination. By the end of 2019, we had accomplished our second mandate or proof. We had taken digitized historical and cultural movement and created the research tools to preserve this movement knowledge in 3D, archive it, and make it accessible online.
My name is Pepe Östensson. I'm a teacher of movement, acting, and voice. What did you hope to accomplish while you were a visiting scholar in residence?
The purpose of my work as a visiting scholar in residence was to provide the proof that we can create a process and methodology for this research and to demonstrate how we can build digital tools that utilize these emerging technologies. When the COVID pandemic hit in 2020, any thoughts of establishing a research program that would serve this new field of research were put on hold. My residency had ended, but I was fortunate to be allowed to retain the office space where all of my work was stored on our processing computers and our archive computer. As the VSGI office was to be closed, we quickly shifted our research and development team to the bare minimum of hours working online from home and accessing our data work files at the HMA office using Amazon Web Services. The HMA team, slowly but surely, developed a process and methodology applied to historical and cultural movement. We have applied this process to integrate the historical record in text and images with archaeological excavation evidence in order to create this digital reconstruction of a 16th century playhouse called the Hope Bear Garden.
Hi, Brad. This is J.P. Fournier up in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I have a question. What was the purpose behind building a digital replica of a 16th century playhouse? Thanks.
I can answer this question with one of the many videos you can find on our website. Motion capture technologies allow us to take historical and cultural movement and preserve it in a three-dimensional digital form. For the first time in history, modern technology is offering us the ability to preserve the movement depicted in antiquarian books and manuscripts. We can recreate and interpret the historical movement in digital form so that it can be preserved, studied, archived, and shared all over the world. It is a Gutenberg moment for historical movement and movement research. Imagine the digital Hope Bear Garden Playhouse, which we have developed, being the digital host destination for movement professionals to get together as HMA studio avatars, or volumetric generated avatars using simple volumetric capture research studio setups, and holoportation. Researchers meet online within the Hope Bear Garden 3D interactive virtual research environment and exchange high-end movement research and performance information from different parts of the world. The international movement community downloads and installs the Historical Movement Archive research application. Research participants log on and enter the digital Hope Bear Garden research game environment using any computer, smartphone, tablet, or augmented reality and virtual reality device to be viewed in 3 dimensions, as if we were in the classroom or witnessing a live performance. It is a Gutenberg moment for the Historical Movement Archive and Studio.
Hi Brad, this is Marie-Hélène Coetzee from South Africa. I would like to know how you plan to turn the display house into a kind of metaverse for research.
We have built and tested this prototype digital host game environment and portal that my colleagues call the Bardiverse. We have tested the build with the help of my international colleagues by entering the online digital portal and interacting from 10 different countries at once. This is just the beginning stage of a remarkable interactive research tool.
My name is Robert Seal, and I work in the frozen north you know as Canada. Where are you now with the development of these research tools?
At this point, as of the end of 2023, we have accomplished the last mandate or proof of concept. We have a process and methodology for historical and cultural movement research and can demonstrate how to build digital tools that use these emerging technologies. The historical movement community will be able to download and install the Historical Movement Archives research application that contains these research tools. Research participants can log on and enter the digital Hope Bear Garden research game environment as HMA studio-generated avatars using any computer, smartphone, tablet, or augmented reality and virtual reality device. They can interact within the Hope Bear Garden in 3 dimensions, as if they were in a movement studio, a classroom, or witnessing a live performance. Motion capture and volumetric capture technologies allow us to take historical and cultural movement and preserve it in a 3-dimensional digital form. For the first time in history, modern technology offers us the ability to preserve historical movement depicted in antiquarian books and manuscripts. Using motion capture and volumetric capture technologies, we can recreate and interpret this historical and cultural movement in digital form so that it can be preserved, studied, archived, and shared all over the world. All of the digital tools that were ideas and concepts presented a little more than 7 years ago are now ready to be implemented into a research program.
Hi, my name is Catherine Chirosi. I'm with the New York Baroque Dance Company and a part of this project. And I would just like to know, what do you see as the future implementation of this program?
That is the most exciting part of it all. Consider the opportunities presented by recent advances in artificial intelligence. There is a whole AI or artificial intelligence aspect to all of this. Let's say for a moment that a motion capture or volumetric capture studio can be put together that is dedicated to capturing and archiving these historical movement systems. Let's say we take as an example Giacomo de Grassi's footwork system and digitize that movement research in all of its complexity. Hundreds of thousands of possible footwork sequences. We then engage this vast amount of movement data into the reconstruction process that we have developed for historical movement. To understand this research process, we need to look at the historical structure of movement. The best comparison is the structure of language and how language is structured, categorized, and analyzed. Cultural and historical movement systems can be looked at in a very similar structural manner. Imagine the history of human movement being analyzed using the highest standards of research, integrating the innovations of artificial intelligence applied to the digitized historical and cultural language of movement. By engaging these emerging technologies with artificial intelligence, we have the opportunity to significantly contribute to the advancement of our understanding of biomechanics, kinesthetics, proprioception, and the science of historical and cultural movement. This work will create new fields of research, such as kinesthetic anthropology and kinesthetic relativity. It is a Gutenberg moment for historical movement and movement research. My work as a visiting scholar in residence at George Mason University enabled me to transform ideas and concepts into digital tools for movement scholars around the world. These tools will be invaluable to establishing a research program dedicated to the preservation of historical and cultural movement. With these tools in hand, we can begin this work. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to give back to the university that I have taught for, the cultural institutions that I have served, and the community that has been my home. I invite all of you to explore our website. In fact, I double dog dare you. historicalmovementarchive.org. I must say goodbye now, for I am but digital dust, and to digital dust I must return. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.
All right.
Nice, Brad.
So
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for allowing me to express those ideas and concepts. Now, I'm going to hand it over to Spencer, and what we're going to do is an experimental class from a 3D digital game environment into a real classroom, a kind of a prototype or an experiment for something that we will have available to everyone someday. So Spencer, did you want to take it from here?
Absolutely. Nick, could you actually stay where you could drive a little bit? I want to demonstrate maybe looking around in a minute. But you can see, so you notice Brad's recorded avatar disappeared. That's his live avatar, right? So Brad's in the Fuse in Virginia. There's a mocap suit capturing motion, so we can hear and see Brad's presence as his avatar. Right around, if Nick looks around the venue, there's other avatars that have joined us. I know Siobhan is in there. There's Siobhan. Hello,
Hi.
Siobhan.
Hey. How you doing?
Well, nice to see you. And we've got a few of his team are also there as well. Is there anybody else who joined us from the Fight Directors group? Anybody like that? Nope. Okay.
Let's see. Oh, well, who's that?
Cool. Well, there's people that are just walking around the globe, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of them are experienced at this through this 2D, kind of first-person shooter kind of a perspective. But you could actually be looking at this through VR goggles, right? And looking around and seeing the room around you. You'll also notice that Brad put up a screen several times. Those screens can be configured anywhere. We'll talk a little bit more about that. So let's talk a little bit about some of the benefits we see of this approach over the current standard. Not that video conference isn't wonderful, but what's possible as we move this forward, right? So first, we think as a digital destination. So we spend a lot of time in the IOSP talking about the destination for our event, right? And it's been banned for many, many years. And this is an alternative destination, right? This virtual Hope Bear Garden. And it offers the benefits of being cost effective, right? So with a fairly low barrier to entry, as Brad said many times, that many devices can enter this environment and benefit from the content. It's easy to attend, right? Geographically unconstrained, you can host participants from many disparate regions, right? In terms of the system capabilities, you get 3D and full body, better than video conference for many tasks, especially when you consider you can change your point of view. Nick can you walk us maybe around just so you can see you can change the point of view?
Sure. Give me a second.
Yeah, so he's just going to walk us while I'm talking around, and you can see that if there's movement being shared, whether you're on the stage or you're in the gallery.
Frozen. Have to wait.
You're okay, yeah, somebody must have left. There's a few bugs in the system, right? So one of them is when somebody leaves, sometimes our avatar's head gets frozen in place, right? But you can, in theory, walk around and see it from different angles, right? It's also capturing movement, not in the way, how many of you have rewound something several times to see it and then modeled it and then used that movement somewhere? Everybody's done that, right? Yeah. So at this level with the mocap, you're capturing data, movement data on a whole new level so that you can study it and interact with it from multiple angles, and just when you get into that digital realm, the feedback it can give you, the sky's the limit in creating what that is, whether that's haptic feedback or something that there are apps that sort of, they tell you breathe like this, and then it monitors your breathing and coaches you. Same sort of thing.
Can I say something about that, Spencer?
Right? Yes, please. Go ahead.
I have to say that, that's one of the super exciting aspects of this, is that I can watch my remote teacher, and then I can either change the camera so I can see them from any angle, or I can move myself around to see them at any angle. And then heck, once we get recording capabilities with it as well, I can actually record my own body in 3D, and then I can take a look and go, that's where I'm being inefficient. And I can maybe watch myself side by side with the instructor avatar and go, right, that's where I'm not replicating. Like, the ability to self-coach in this at the same time as practice with somebody else, like, just so thrilling. The amount of study and expertise we can gain with this kind of system.
Thanks, Siobhan. With that, just so much possibility, right? We're going to get back to some of that, but I want to take a moment just to talk about the virtual set. Now, Bradley Gonzalez is in the Fuse today, I believe, with Brad. He's the designer from the Masons program of the Hope Bear Garden. So, first of all, let's get a round of applause. Because he built the globe, And Brad, did you want to say anything? Bradley, did you want to say anything about the set and the use of it and what the possibilities you see are for the capabilities of the system?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Brad. I designed this. This is the first iteration. There's another one in the works, actually, but I think this provides so much more of a collaborative and intimate space to be able to actually join other people and interact with them in a 3D environment. It's so much more personal than just a bunch of webcams on a Zoom screen. And I think we can do so much with this, and it's going to be really amazing.
Brad G, are there any particular features of the set that you found to be of particular utility? I did notice the screens. That's amazing. Can you put those screens anywhere you want? Like, what are some of the options with how you can invent the space?
The research and development going forward will be to create this space as a working space, not only for movement professionals to get together, and we have a long way to go. These are just the first steps in a series of development efforts that we're going to have. First of all, we created a space, then an avatar, and then trying to get human movement into an avatar. That's been a challenge in itself. And then create a digital host destination where people can actually come into an environment like this. And like many of the folks that are in the audience of the digital host destination, they can come in and see performances or classes, or even in the future participate in teaching, in experimenting with somebody from a different part of the world at the same time, working on different movement systems like Degrassi or Silver, or historical dance, historical martial arts. Any kind of movement system that you want to study will have a space for you in the future to actually go to and work with them at any time. The future holds where we put on a pair of glasses, and lo and behold, we'll be in a digital host destination working with our colleagues and friends. And like the Patty Crane workshop, it's the same principle. Get together, share knowledge, grow together.
And let me build on that. Thanks, Brad and Brad G. The future features may support nonlinear collaboration. Let's sort of transcend the limits of space-time, right? You'll already notice that Brad was on the same stage as himself, multiplexing his presence in the same digital space, right? Imagine you're choreographing a fight of the fight of 100 men in Cyrano. You could probably be all 100 men in that fight, right? As one choreographer. So already an amazing possibility there. You'll be able to replay and record events. That would be essential to record each track, right? There could be multiple contributors, like say Siobhan could sign in on Monday, and Brad could go in there on Tuesday, and I could go in there on Wednesday, all interacting on the same project, just like you would like an Adobe Premiere movie project or an audio project, right? Single project, multiple tracks. You'll be able to control speed as we go through the iterations of technology. The way those characters sync together can probably be tweaked more and more. And you can imagine if you're trying to choreograph a fight between two people, and one does his fight on Monday and the other does his part of the fight on Tuesday, syncing is going to be a big thing, right? So that's something we're looking into. It's flexible, right? It hosts an eclectic set of tech, as we said. It's really meant, and this was said several times, but I think it bears emphasis, that the goal here is not that you've got to be on one type of technology, that this should be open so that whether you're seeing it through your laptop, your tablet, your phone, or you've got VR or AR, or whether you have mocap or you do not, that you should be able to still interact with this environment, right? Now mocap, I believe, there's home games that are coming out now, right? More and more that have that motion capture capability, right? So that's already here to varying levels, right? Flexible, boom, boom. Also, the last thing I'll say in terms of the capabilities is that it's a trusted repository. It's an archive, right? So, for instance, we've got these, we love to do the salute that was taught to us by Jacques Capel, right? Whom we haven't seen in a few years. Mm-hmm. And we love to do various, once upon a time, Jonathan Howell taught us the Peking opera stick routine. And so these things can now be recorded in a much more accurate, much more data-rich way and archived than they would be simply having films. Because I know you've all run up against I see what he's doing, I can't figure out what he's doing though, right? In the flat screen, trying to figure out, well, what did Cyrano do in that move? How did he do that? Like in 1957 in that flat black and white, film, right? So lots of capabilities. So all that being said, we want to have a bit of an experiment. And we're tiny bit behind schedule, Brad. So, but we're doing really well. We're going to do a footwork exploration and all learn some footwork together. So we're going to spread out. I'm going to use this star here. And we're going to teach you some footwork. Brad's going to lead us through. I'm going to facilitate in the room. And we're going to learn some basic footwork. I'm going to tee this up first, Brad. You notice there's a star on the floor, right? So that's the 0 line there. You've got the 90s. We're going to talk about the 90s, right? We're going to talk about the 45s as well. And everything starts from this footwork system on the railroad tracks. So you're going to stand with your feet a little more than shoulder width apart, your hands energized, a little bit of intention in the hands by your sides. And so that's our neutral starting point. So now Brad, and you'll be able to watch the avatar up on the screen, right? Is it the yellow avatar in the center, Brad?
Okay, now here's the experiment. There's a 5-second lag because you guys are in Banff and we're on the other side of the country. And what we're going to do is I'm going to call out the technique, and Spencer will do it for you. And then right after that, he'll do it again with the avatar. And all of you will do it with the avatar. So watch Spencer first, then the avatar and Spencer, and you guys go along with him. So here we go. Spencer, are you ready?
I'm ready, Brad.
Okay, here we go. And this is from the Degrassi footwork system, which is a footwork system that's in his 1570 manual, reprinted in 1594. It's really one of the only footwork documents that we really have from the 16th century. So here we go. Now, here we go. Spencer, advance forward right.
Okay, so to advance forward right, we're going to step down the railroad track.
Sure, that's it.
Right forward,
and then recover.
And we're going to let our
neutral again.
Go out on a 45-degree angle. So I'll teach them first, Brad, and then we're going to follow the avatar. So let me teach to them first, right?
Okay.
So make sure you got a little width in your stance, Hunter, right? So you've got your railroad tracks. A little more width. Yeah, there you go. Perfect, perfect. So just stepping forward, right? That's an advance right. And then we're going to return to neutral, right?
Okay.
And then if you were to step forward left railroad tracks, let your right foot go off on that 45-degree angle, right? Nice and comfortable. Keeping your hips forward, that would be your advance left. Now we're gonna see the avatar do it. We're gonna follow along with them. We're gonna advance right, advance left. It will be in neutral.
Okay. Advance forward right. Neutral. Advance forward left. Neutral. And then can you see the avatar?
We can. It's a little small. Nick, is there a way we get closer, or maybe is the avatar move forward? No, because you're stuck. Fair enough.
There you go. There we go. Well done, well done.
It's like a little shuffle, the avatar. So is that you walking?
Okay, now. Here we go. Now, Spencer, half pass, retreat back right.
So we're going to now step back on the right railroad track. Right? And then back to neutral.
Neutral.
And we're going to step.
Retreat back left.
And then back to
neutral. And then we should be able to see the avatar do it now. And we'll do it with the avatar. Ready?
All right. Retreat right. We'll wait till the avatar moves. There we go. Boom. And back to neutral. And retreat left.
Okay, great. Oh, fantastic. Well, so there is no delay. I think we've overcome that. Okay, now, those are straight paces, both forward and back. Now we're going to go offline, which are crooked or sloped paces. Everybody say crooked or sloped.
Crooked or sloped.
Okay, very good. Okay, now Spencer, this is a crooked or slope pace to the right 90. Ready? And step.
Can you give me
Nope. On the 90.
Oh, side traverse, is that what we're doing?
And crooked or slope to the left 90.
Brad, are we talking side traverses?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so he's the terminology.
Ready? Right 90.
Right, so to
Okay,
the right
traverse right 90.
this way. We're just gonna step this way.
That's it. And neutral. And left 90. Oh, wonderful. And neutral. Okay. Now, we're going to step forward on the right 45. Ready? And thwart right 45.
All right, I'll show you this. So to thwart, we're gonna take our right foot. You see that right 45 line here? I'm gonna come right onto that line. And I'm gonna kind of come in line, almost like a you could consider like a fencing stance if I was going in that direction. But if my opponent's in front of me, I'm gonna keep my my hips towards them, right? And that's what we used to call, what we say in slang for thwart, right? And what are we calling it now, Brad?
Yeah, this is a thwart.
All right, and then we're back to neutral.
Yeah.
But it can
back
also
to
be
neutral.
referred to as a
Now,
sloped pace.
Thwart forward left 45.
All right, so we're going to do a slope pace or a thwart left on the left 45.
And neutral.
You all see the
Great.
utility of
Now
that?
we're going
May I momentarily interject real quick?
Okay.
If
Now,
Bradley could
thwart
just press
back right
resume his
45.
original prompts.
Now we're going to the rear right 45, so we're going to take the right foot and step back onto that line. And we're going to thwart back
There we
right.
go. And neutral. And thwart back left 45.
Hey, Brad,
well
this is
done.
Nick.
Neutral.
Nick, could you move your avatar to the front of the stage? That would make them a little bigger for us to see in the room, if you could.
Can we move the avatar forward?
You can't walk your avatar anymore, right? Yeah. Unless you sign out and come back, right? Is that easy? Okay.
I think that's, no, he's disappeared. So you have to come out.
I just need to.
Yeah, come out forward. Yeah.
Yeah, if I resume original posture and then.
Okay.
There we go. That's better. Much better.
Ah, the magic. Okay. All right. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go through those straight and crooked or slope paces. I'm going to call them out. First start with the straight, then go to the crooked. We're going to go to the 0, then the 90s, then the 45s. Ready? Advance forward right. Neutral. Advance forward left. Neutral. Retreat back right. Neutral. Retreat back left. Neutral. Now we're going to go on the 90s. Traverse to the right 90 and go. And neutral. Traverse to the left 90 and neutral. Now we're going to go the forward 45s and thwart right 45 and neutral. Thwart left 45 forward. That's it. Yep, neutral. Back right 45. Neutral. Back left 45. Neutral. All right, well done. Now we're going to do it twice as fast. But what I'd like you to do when I call it out, I'd like you to put a little process into it, an intent. Movement without thought or intention really doesn't go anywhere, not only on the stage, but any kind of martial tradition or dance tradition. So what I'd like you to do is when you go into a direction, I want you to reach for something that means something to you. Like, for instance, if Spencer were a mother and the baby was on a high chair just about to fall off, how would he go forward to catch the baby? Go. Okay, good. Neutral. Now go forward with the left foot. Ready? Now think about it. Catch the baby. That's it. Yes, thank you. Neutral. As you can see, his body language changes. Behind it has some kind of intent. And this is part of the process that you must develop in yourself. You must practice putting a process or an intent in all your movement, you see. After a while, it becomes second nature to the body. You don't have to think about it so much. But now we're going to go through the footwork. I want you to put something into it. It might be you're reaching for a lover, or a case of beer, or whatever you think is important at this stage in your life. Okay, you ready? And advance forward right. And neutral. Advance forward left. Neutral. Retreat back right. Give a reason to it. Neutral. Retreat back left. Neutral. Now you're going to go to the right 90. Reach for something and thwart. Neutral. Thwart left 90. Go. Neutral. Now maybe you're trying to avoid somebody's sword. Avoid it by going on the right 45 and go. And neutral. And left 45. Go. Okay, and neutral. Now avoid something back. Right. Ready? Back thwart right. Go. Neutral. This time parry and avoid. Back thwart left. Go.
Throw in a parry.
That's it. Nice. Neutral. Okay. Now those are the straight paces. Now the next section is called circular paces. They are half passes as well. All right. We're going to step on the right 45, forward right 45, and the foot encompasses a circle in that direction. It takes you off the center line. Okay, so ready? And cross right 45.
You're going to open the door with your right foot and then step through under that forward right 45. And then back
and neutral.
And you're going to open the door.
Open the door and cross left forward 45. And neutral. Now we're going to do a circular pace to the rear, right 45. And go ahead and
Brad,
go.
In our vernacular, is this a slip or is this a...
Yeah, this is the old slip.
Okay.
You're circular pacing behind, and you're going to go to the back right 45. Okay? And that's with your left foot. That's it, yes. Thank you very much. Neutral.
Then we're going to close the door on the
cross in the rear, left rear 45. Yeah. Good. Neutral. Now, we're going to cross in front to the right 90. Nope, the right 90.
Oh, right 90. So here's the right 90.
That's
so
it.
Remember we
ready?
Crossed to
and
the forward 45.
Open.
Right?
That's the 45.
We're going to cross to the right 90. See?
Well done.
Cross. Back neutral. Go ahead, Brad.
Okay, ready? And open, cross right 90. Yeah, there we go. And now complete the circle.
Yeah, so when we recover this time, we're going to go around this way. So we exercise another movement option.
Might as well, we're halfway there. Okay.
Right, so if we do it
Let's
on the
try
right,
that again. Cross right 90, complete the circle.
complete the circle going that, yes.
Cross left 90, complete the circle. Oh, you guys are doing wonderful. Now, we're going to cross on the rear 45. Oh, no, cross and back. So now, you're going to cross behind you to the right 90. Ready? And cross behind you to the right 90. Nope, 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 nope.
No.
Go back. You're going to slip to the right 90s, Spence.
The right rear 90. Oh, yeah, right 90,
Yeah.
got it. So
Right
we're gonna
90.
slip.
Yeah, ready? And
We're going to go back, right? We're going to close the door, and then we're going to circle this foot away, not to here, all the way around to here. Does that make sense?
well done. Now complete the circle.
It's your choice, to be honest. You can be here or you can be here. It depends on your application. And then we're going to How do we recover for these? All the way around?
Complete the circle.
Complete the circle.
Well done. Now, slip behind or cross behind. Nope. No. Hey, go back.
Slip. Okay,
We're
sorry,
still
my
in the
bad.
90s.
Close.
So you're going to slip. There you go. Thank you very much. And cross. Nope, to the 90.
To the 90. My bad.
Yeah. Try it again. There it is. Well done, well done. Now complete the circle. How's everybody doing? Good?
Yes.
Okay, now you're going to cross in front to the right rear 45.
All right.
So pivot.
So open that door way up. Now we're going
That's
to
it. Yes, and cross.
all
Complete the circle.
and recover all the way
That's
around.
it. Now you're going to cross in front to the left rear 45 and complete the circle. All right. Now we're going to cross and back to the right forward 45. Where's the right forward 45?
Right.
Where is it?
These are the ones. Hold on, Brad. Let me work for a second here. So we were going back this way.
Nope.
And we can slip
You're
to
going to,
90.
there's the 90, yeah.
Forward 45.
Yeah, that's it.
Where do you want us to slip
Okay,
to?
so now
45?
let's cross behind to the right forward 45.
So that's here. And so we're calling it cross behind because slip's not accurate historically. We called it that for years. That's why my brain needs to say that, right? But we're going to close the door big time and we're going to slip to that forward 45.
That's it. Complete the circle.
Complete the circle.
Done. And cross behind to the left forward 45.
Door.
Yes. And complete the circle. Well done. Okay, now we're going to do this again. Do we have time?
I'm going to check the time real quick. I think we're fine.
Yes, please.
Yeah, you got about 25 minutes left.
Q&A is that, so yeah, we're just going to probably end up doing the footwork, Brad, and we have 7 more minutes.
While we have a moment in between things, would it be all right if we ran the calibration real quick? It seems that the avatar has lost a little bit of calibration tracking.
Yeah, go for it.
Yes, go for it.
Sure, go ahead. Now, while they're calibrating, and as this is the first baby step of putting all these technologies together, over the next 5 years, these technologies will be landing at our doorstep to make all of this much easier. Motion capture, going into three-dimensional spaces. I can imagine going into a park, putting on your glasses, and doing choreography or a dance or some kind of martial experience with somebody else who's in their park, maybe in China or Japan or Australia. You see, these technologies will offer us such great freedom to express movement on a professional level. It'll make a Banff or a Paddy Crane out of our living rooms, out of our backyards. So anyway, I think they're almost calibrated. Almost. How are we doing? Anyway, Spencer, we're going to go through the circular paces again. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Cross forward, right 45.
All right. Open the door, step to that forward 45 on the right. Excellent.
And return. Cross forward, left 45.
Door, step forward left. And
Good. Neutral. And cross back, right 45. That's it. Okay, neutral. Cross back, left rear 45. Yes. Oh, you guys are looking good. Neutral. Okay, we're going to cross in front to the 90s. Cross right 90.
There's the 90.
In front.
Open the door and step.
That's it. Yeah. Thank you. Complete the circle. Cross forward, left 90.
Door, step back.
Yes. And complete the circle. Cross behind it to the right 90.
So we're going to close the door, step back.
Yes, thank you. Complete the circle.
Sorry, the rear right. Complete the circle.
And cross back to the left 90.
Perfect.
And complete the circle. All right, now we're going to cross to the right rear 45 in front. Ready? Yeah. Cross in front to the right rear 45. Here we go.
The door, step to the rear 45. Perfect.
And complete the circle. And cross to the left rear 45. And complete the circle. Now you're going to slip behind on a cross to the right forward 45. Close the door.
We're going to go behind us.
Yep. And complete the circle. And cross behind to the left forward 45.
Yep.
And complete the circle.
You guys have it better than I do.
Okay. Now we're going to cross in front to the right rear 45. Ready? Yeah. Ready? And just for the fun of it, cross. And complete the circle. And cross to the left forward, rear 45. Yeah. Okay. All right. So now we've gone through straight paces, circular, thwarted, offline sequences, which are thwarts on the 45s, on the 90s, on the rear 45s, and we've also done circular paces to the 45s, the 90s, and the rear 45s. And because we have two legs, one always has to go around the other. So that's why we have crosses in front and crosses in back. And this, we're going to just do one more thing. We're going to advance forward right. Go ahead and advance forward right. I want you to take your left leg and bring it to your right ankle. Yep, just bring it in. That's a half pace. Now from there, you can do any footwork pattern. Let's do a side traverse to the left 90 and go. Yep. Okay, now this is two half passes, you see. A half pass, draw in, and a half pass, draw out. And that's the other half of the system, you see. But we don't really have time to do that. But what I'd like you to do is hand it to Spencer right now, and let's just do a little recap. If you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them on what we're doing with this footwork system. Spencer, what do you think?
Yeah, any questions on the footwork system? We're going to talk about the tech in just a minute, literally a minute. But any questions about the footwork system?
Yeah, very little ed.
It'd be fun if there were one. You know what I mean? Because we can, it's a proof of concept. We're learning, right? Anybody have anything? You notice anything? Notice any use for the system? This is it. I mean, this is, when you have 2 feet, there's only so many things you can do, and this has really been boiled it down to account for all kinds of possibilities. I will note that, let me address yours. So Hunter was saying, you know, can I be on this line this way? Yes. Can I be on this way? Yes. Can I be oriented this way, this way, this way? In fact, this is one of the things Brad used to talk about. If you're here, you know, if I'm here, I can go in line to the 45. I can be straight on the railroad tracks to my 0 line in front of me. I can come neutral. I can go to the left and be facing this 90. I can go in line, face this. I can twist a little bit and face the rear 45, right? You have all of those options with your feet on this star as well when you're in any of those positions.
I really like this.
It's just
like that just is a simple, like very nice visual.
Right.
Like even when I don't have it here, I like look over and be like, oh, it's a lot easier to browse.
So the comment is that they like the star, you want to comment on where the star comes from, Brad, and where we see that in history?
Sure. Prehistory, the star was created. It wasn't created for mapping the globe or anything. It actually is an ancient, very ancient movement system that had existed before the written word. The first book, as it were, was the human body. That's why we have the Kabbalah, where the head is Keter and different parts of the body represent, of course, in a design. They call it even a mystical design. But the eight-pointed star was created in the ancient forms of martial arts, you see. And, of course, this system pre-existed before ballet. Ballet uses a martial system, you see. The origins of ballet use the same eight-pointed star. And wherever you go in the world, this eight-pointed star is used in all martial art traditions. Now, some use a triangle, some use a square, but all of those are within the eight-pointed star, you see. And it's as old as you can. The oldest manuscripts that we have the eight-pointed star in it. And if you just look at history and images, you'll see it. Even at the Vatican, the old knights would used to, work their footwork systems and stuff like that, even in the church, you see, as it was being created. So now, this system encompasses like an alphabet. Movement is like an alphabet. You have your little letters, your thwarts, your crosses, your slips, your traverses, all those kind of things are like the alphabets. And once you put those together, they form words or phrases. And you see, movement is much like a language. You have different uses of that same body language. It's called different things, but once you translate a word, you understand it in another language. Well, movement is universal, and it might be called different things. It might have different uses, but the human movement is a universal thing. Spencer was showing you the different hip relationships that are part of any footwork system. So I long to share these techniques. Go ahead, Spence.
Yeah, we're into our Q&A time. So let me wrap what you're saying up so they can see it visually. So with 2 feet, right, if you rotate your hips, notice I'm in this stance. Right now I have width of base and depth of base. So this is something you might use for broadsword fighting or any number of, even boxing to an extent, have some width to it, right? Width of base and depth of base. So I'll call this a strong stance. Right? So back here, that's a neutral stance, right? You have lots of width, but no depth.
He's pivoting to the right 45. He's in neutral right now.
You're strong, right? You come in line, rotate a little bit more, you're in line. Now you've got depth if we're driving in this direction, but you have no width going this way, so you're unstable side to side, right? Then this is a crossed stance, which looks very clear.
You're crossed now.
Right? And I don't know, I don't know how I would describe it. It's got its own set of stability, right? And so those are the various ways that we've mapped out the hip relationships within the star. At this point, what I'd like to do is move to the Q&A portion, and I want to facilitate a discussion. So come on all the way forward to the star, make yourself comfortable. Make yourself visible from this. Yeah.
So the concept
You
behind
can make
the
yourself
star,
comfortable too if you want.
it's would have tape on the ground for us all the time. Is
Right.
it? And as we're moving in space, the star moves with us.
You
under
can
our
take them
center of
out if you
gravity.
like.
That's certainly, you can think of it that way. Absolutely.
As a child in Sangam Taekwondo, we had the Sangam star, and it had colors, but it was the exact same thing.
Yeah, because it's a system for humans with two legs, right? And this is what happens when you start dealing with bipedal movement. But let's talk about this tech now. So again, this is the first step in the journey of 1,000 steps. And we have about 15 minutes to talk about where we might go with this. So what else is possible? I would just want to ask the room first, and then I'm going to go to our virtual participants, and specifically I'll be talking to Austin and Nick. What do you think this type of platform can do well, and what problems do you see it solving in the future? Anybody in the room?
I was actually curious if, depending on backgrounds and whatnot, are you able to change your avatar color like on the fly right now?
Okay, so here's just a straight up, I should have just said, does anybody have questions, right? Okay, so
Yes.
the question was, can you change your, the answer is yes. You could, that is, you were saying, can you change your
Yeah, 'cause
avatar?
like his avatar, his live avatar was yellow. And
That's right.
It's blending in, so it was hard to follow. Where the other avatar over there is brown, and I'm not sure if those are pre-selected or if those are something that you can just be like, if you've got a different background up, you'd be like, oh, I'm blending in the background right now. I feel like being a different color. Like, is that something that is currently available?
100%. I mean, the environment they're in, Brad G is developing a new Globe Theater model, right? And of course, these avatars are just one avatar. I'm sure they've actually played with other avatars on the screen as well. So all of that, just like any video game, if it's in a video game, then the answer is yes. Like, we'll be able to do that as well for this environment. So let me actually redirect. And this is the part where so remember me, it's 1994, I'm at MicroProse. They're inviting me into this world of mocap, right? What is that? How many years ago? 30 years ago or something? Stupid. And you're in that same situation now, talking to the developers. So we're really looking at what problems do you see this solving? What achievements do you think this could, what do you see thinking? I've already been thinking marching bands. I mean, you can go anywhere with this, but even within combat, what do you see? And Nick's got something. Yeah.
I know one that I would use it for almost right away, right? Which is staging and planning mass battles, right? So like right now, like use all kinds of tricks, Lego people, whatever you have, right? To sort of like, okay, the timing of this, you're gonna move these people here, you move these people here, you're gonna cross this line, well, there's a gap, right? To your point about recording yourself when having multiple people participate in it, you could do two things. You could, one, record that mass battle, work on the timing of it all in advance. In an environment that, like, you could actually even alter the environment so it could be reflective of what your actually space looks like. And you can probably do something in the future where you could track a camera through it all, right? So it would be very, like, they do some of that with Unreal right now in some of the film and virtual production stuff. But then, like, having these kinds of tools accessible to us at a different scale would be really nice.
Let me ask if there's anybody in the virtual space. Siobhan, anybody in the virtual space have any particular ideas of what do you think this platform could do well, or what problems could it solve in the future?
Put on your microphone.
Right, I've got to do it over here. I'm confused because I'm running Discord and the virtual space at the same time. For me, this will really help with folks who are needing to like practice drills. It's always a thing of like, how do I practice my sword drills alone? Sure, I can take the positions, but it's not the same thing as having a person to interact with. So I see one of the potentials of this is that then I can throw attacks at an individual. I can change that individual's size and dimensions. Maybe my scene partner is willing to have their dimensions put into an avatar and I can work with them. I can also practice being attacked. We have to put in our 1,000 hours, as it were, so it'll be really helpful, especially for folks who are like the only person within an hour's drive or something, and you just want to bang out a couple of reps, but you're not necessarily able to get together with somebody. That will help the practice element, so that when I'm ready to interact with other people or when that opportunity comes up, I'm that much further along in my training, and we can accelerate our in-person time as well.
Thank you, Siobhan.
Well done.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that, changing the size of the avatar. Or changing your avatar to, I don't know, a bear, a dragon, a lion, right? All the non-human characters, right? Let me ask Austin Birch, the developer. So Austin developed the system within which Brad G's digital globe model resides. So all of the things that make this work are Austin. So first of all, that's no small feat. Let's have a round of applause for Austin. Austin, what possibilities do you see for the future, Austin?
Hi, yeah. So, honestly, the possibilities are kind of, I think there are a lot of different possibilities, different ways to take this, right? We have the ability to basically record and pre-build classes out of whole schools of movement, whole systems of movement. Like we can take whole treatises, record every single whatever in them, and be able to build these online classes that then people can, you know, say, oh, I want to learn this particular treatise from start to end, and, you know, go through the entirety of that entire, you know, treatise, start to end, watching every fight, pausing, watching them, moving around, you know. I know that, so I do a little bit of HEMA, you know, all that fun stuff. And one of the things that I find really helpful is being able to see an instructor from multiple sides, especially up close. That's not really something you can do with an in-person coach, right? I can't, you know, walk up to my coach and be like, hey, can I watch you do that again, but just from like 8 inches away, watching exactly how you're moving? That's not really a concern in this sort of digital environment, right? You know, you could walk up to the avatar and watch up close in detail the way that different parts of their body are moving. And I think that as somebody who is kind of going on my own, you know, starting up on like learning some movement stuff, that is a very helpful tool as well. But in terms of the technology, I do think it's also important to know that we are going to, you know, in the presentation, Brad mentioned some of the AI aspect of this. One of the things that I think is very promising in terms of AI with this is the ability to categorize movement as we record it. So, you know, we have these steps that he just had everyone learn, being able to have somebody, you know, do movement live, and then the computer be able to identify and describe that movement accurately based on training that we can give it, right? So that we can then record a sequence and then have it categorize it and archive it accordingly, like being like, oh, that was, you know, based on this series of movements taken, that was, you know, Spanish rapier of this particular period, you know, probably attributed to like this particular master or whatever. So that to me is kind of some of the interesting things that we can look at going forward with this technology.
Thank you, Austin. I know we had some additional questions in the room. I saw some hands jumping. Anybody have any other questions or comments or observations?
I was thinking of how helpful it could be with injuries and such, either simulating them or working around them as like having an instructor help you or even a physical therapist.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, that's really interesting. So we talked about the factor of injuries and how to work around those injuries and/or have a physical therapist working with you. So there's another platform application. So here's what's interesting about this is that if you want this goodness for the fright world, we might find that if it was a killer app for someone else, like a physical therapist, that suddenly the money comes to give us the juice to do the things we want. So that's another piece that, you know, that's why I say what kind of, that was my next question, is like, who else, you know, might benefit from this technology and approach, right? Physical therapists, I said marching bands, just trying to think outside of the box. Yeah, go ahead. Athletes, and how so?
To be able to record your own movement, and like I think it was Siobhan said, look at it, record it, and see it, and be able to look at it from different angles and analyze and teach yourself almost. But also being able to have that phrase, not words, the having other movement examples recorded that you can look at and go into that space,
right,
and compare to yours.
I've got something on that. Recently, in different sort of vein, not quite this technology, but there's a football player in the U.S. Who trains in virtual reality, and he runs plays, but he does that hundreds of times, and so he is very, very good because of how much virtual work he has done. Right? Just repeat, watch himself. What did I just do in that last play? Okay, I'm gonna do it again. Right? He set up opponents to get past, right? And so he just has become now a thing that's part of sport training. So yeah, there's opportunities for this kind of stuff. Absolutely.
And I've personally worked in applications for like aviation, like mechanics. You're even using virtual reality right now, right? So as we develop the space, what's interesting is our art form has its own set of needs and challenges and possibilities that are different than an airplane mechanic, right? And you can already see, so anything that was awkward in this class is the possibility. Anything where there was something that was maybe you've like, well, that's not ideal. Well, there's the possibility. And so the development of that is where some of the future growth can live. At this point, I want to hand it over to Brad. This is our invitation part of it. So Brad's going to invite you in, to use the platform to become a part of the Bear Garden development team. And as we are, exiting, I got a little table, and you can type your name and your email address if you want to stay involved with this, because I know Brad would love to indoctrinate you into his army of disruptors. So Brad, go ahead.
Well, in a way, it's like we started the Patty Crane workshop. It started with a need. We wanted to re-roof Patty's roof, right? So we did a workshop so that we could collect the money to pay for his roof. And we found that by bringing people together, it built a kind of a camaraderie. And when we take off our hats and become students all, we find that we learn so much more in an environment that is sharing and not confrontational, and there's no judgment, there's those things are not the best thing for learning. But when you listen, and that's the most important tool, the ability to listen with the body, with the movement, listen with your mind, with what you're seeing and what you're experiencing. You see, these things are the teaching tools of the body, and we want to give an environment that will allow a kind of a Patty Crane workshop kind of environment where I can foresee, like Pepe working with some students in his studio, but we're working within the DHD. I'd have a few students in my studio, and we're working in the DHD. Maybe somebody from Australia would come on in, and we have a physical connection with our students, or with each other, our friends. And we also have the opportunity to travel thousands of miles to work with another master artist, you see. And in the future, AI will give us the opportunity, or some kind of system where motion capture will be so accurate that we won't be able to tell the difference between whether it's real or whether it's manufactured or a digital world, you see. And
all that being said, Brad, what kinds of people are you inviting into your development team? Do they need to be technical people? Are they movement people? Do they need to be?
Well, I see it in two groups. We have our movement artists and our researchers, which really is the pen part of it, isn't it? And then we have also the kind of hard bones, kind of creating that's the sword part. So we have a combination of the sword and the pen. We have developers and digital artists and folks that can create these worlds and be on top of the technologies as they arrive. And we take those technologies and develop them for our own purposes.
Otherwise, do they need to be PhDs or fight masters?
No.
So I want you guys to know that this is an open invitation for everyone. And trust me, when Brad takes you into his sphere, there's adventure abounds, right? And great knowledge. So we need to wrap up. It's about class time now, and I want to get a few.
Well, may I say one more thing?
Yes, please.
I want to thank everybody over at the Patty Crane workshop, and treat each other with generosity and Patty's